Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Monday, May 7th. I'm not sure how long this stream will go, but I imagine it'll still be 45 minutes. So we're struggling to get 2 victories here on the European account. So that might be a silent post-show thing we do. Let's go ahead and skip over to the Americas account. We were blazing through the Asian account and doing a decent amount of progress on the European account, but the victories are still very much killers. And speaking of blazing through things, I am blazing through the news, so I really don't have a ton of news to talk about, so this is going to be weird. I need somebody on the Americas account to friend me and play a game and log on, because I have a watch and learn, and so if they want to send me a friend request, the information is down below in the description, but it's also right here. RYDO1423. Meanwhile, we should trade out this for more gold, and we'll try and play some paladin cards while we see if we can get anybody to log on. Paladin cards. We've got Paladin Secret and we got Paladin Shield. Imagine Shield might be better. Let's play. PC Gamer has an article. The VR rhythm game Beat Saber, now the highest ranked game on Steam, is releasing a level editor next week. It entered early access earlier this week. Is it really the highest ranked game? Like, I don't understand like how you get that. Well, the link I clicked on says top sellers all products, and Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is the highest top seller. So, I mean, if something is 100% positive, how do you beat 100% positive? Okay, Beat Saber is at 98% positive. It's in the list of top sellers, but I don't think. But the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is 99% positive. So, while it might be the highest ranked during the time of the article, but it has certainly changed since then. A game like Beat Saber looks like it really should have had a level editor to begin with. I'm glad they're adding it. Beat Saber is by far my #1 pick if you're going to play a game for Oculus or VR. However, I don't think you can justify buying a Oculus Rift or a Vive just to play that one game that's rather expensive, even if it is good. And frankly, I would probably get bored with it after an hour or so. Next article we have, PC Gamer has an article, Quake champions to add bots, but id Software won't yet say if they're offline. Which this is really just id Software admitting that Quake champions is not succeeding. It really didn't have a lot of chance to succeed in the first place. But like, it kind of sucks too. Like, the idea of playing a game like Quake in the modern day is so niche to people who would have just been playing Quake still, the original Quake. Or Quake 3D or whatever. That, yeah, the idea of making a new game that was sort of like Quake was a bad concept from the word go. However, I would suspect that maybe they didn't put as much effort into it as they pretend like they did. They probably knew it was going to be, for the most part, an experiment. Next article, PC Gamer says Oculus shows off its new 140-degree FOV Rift prototype that has moving displays.
We must cleanse the sun well.
140 degrees for field of view is pretty good. It's not as much as I would like. I would prefer to be hitting something of 160 degrees, 180 degrees. You don't really need 360 degrees because you're turning your head to look around you. And unless you have actual eyes in the back of your head, then you would probably need something closer to 360. The comparison image here shows a tiny circle from, I guess, what would be the original Oculus Rift to this newer one that is a lot wider. Inherently, I would say, though, the problem with VR is not the field of view as much as the motion blur and screen dooring and just the feeling in general of being sick after playing a while. Let's see. Taunt, Divine Shield, Charge, Divine Shield.
What
I'm
would
just gonna play this.
This last act of sacrifice
I fight.
is mine.
Next game we have on Steam is called The Battle for the Hut. Came out May 5th. It's from a developer who's put a bunch of games on Steam that are rated highly, but I'm kind of suspicious because this does seem like it's meme games. 100% of 18 user reviews are giving it positive. It says it's an action adventure indie casual game, and it looks to me like it's like a tower defense, castle defense game where you're just clicking and firing. The graphics are not animated great, but they're not the worst I've ever seen. 40% off for $1.79.
Which path to choose?
Let's look at the achievements. One of the reviews. Yeah, it's an achievement game. So it's basically an idle game. There's not a lot to it.
To Northrend! Victory or death! Destiny.
So yeah, I can't really recommend The Battle for the Hut as a game. It doesn't look awful, but it certainly doesn't look good enough to actually be called a real game.
Destiny.
And 500 achievements kind of speaks badly for it instead of speaking good. PC Gamer has an article, whip-cracking roguelike game City of Brass. Remember that one? It came and went. Let's see.
My duty is to the king! For the king! Victory or death!
I fight.
So City of Brass, made by former BioShock developers, leaves early access. City of Brass was never really going to succeed. Let's go over to its Steam page. Probably the main problem I have with it is it's a single player game that looks like a multiplayer game. It looks like it was Overwatch, but it isn't. It's rated very positive, 83% of 130. And maybe, like, if it was on sale, I'd play it. It had an all-time peak. It came out, let's see, May 4th. Which, it's had an all-time peak of 136 players. A lot of language support. 16 achievements. Everything I've seen people play of it, it just seems a little kind of repetitive and kind of boring. Let's look at the not recommended. Former Bioshock developers have made a first-person Spelunky with a Prince of Persia vibe. It sounds and looks good, but looks can be deceiving. Overall, it's a really cool concept. Let's see.
Truth is my shield.
The light protects me.
Reporting for duty.
Overall, it's a really cool concept, ruined by horrible hit detection and inconsistent gameplay. I've played and finished games like Spelunky, Rogue Legacy, and Risk of Rain, and the thing that makes them all good is they're consistent with the controls. Amount of times City of Brass, where your sword or whip just passes through an enemy entirely is too much to be forgiven. Considering the game revolves around melee combat, the RNG aspect is unbalanced, also creating rooms that are just brutally unfair, like putting multiple revolving spike traps into a small area along with a dozen enemies. The game claims to be full release, but it feels like it's an early access title at best. And that's interesting because it's now saying that it's coming out of early access.
Battle.
I fight. I fight.
Let's see. Not recommended, not recommended, not recommended. While the not recommendeds are definitely in the minority for City of Brass, I kind of agree with them. The main thing, I suppose, is it just never caught my attention. Like, of the many times I've seen this game covered by big mainstream video game critics and media, it's never caught my attention for more than 5 minutes, and I've never wanted to wishlist it, and I'm still not wanting to wishlist it. And more that seems to happen. Games try to be hyped up, and when I personally look at the game, it doesn't feel like there's too much there.
Shall not fall.
Only a fool rejects the Lich
Remember,
King.
kill for us.
I fight.
So you got somebody on the chat. Top Drop Cop asks, are mobile players able to play with PC players? I assume you mean on Hearthstone. The answer is yes. If you mean City of Brass or some other game, the answer is probably no. There is a slight caveat that if you're installing Hearthstone on a mobile phone, the mobile phone has to be on an American account, so the American iOS store or the American Play Store, or a American iOS Play Store, not particularly United States or anything like that. So if you happen to be in Europe and you install Hearthstone, you're going to default be on the European servers. That's not going to help me too much right now. So I hope that explains that.
The light shall bring victory. For Lordaeron.
PC Gamer has another article that says, what are games doing in 2018 that you thought would have stopped by now? I guess I have to applaud PC Gamer today, because it really is saving my bacon by having so many articles that are kind of not news, because there's not a ton of new games that came out. So this is mostly just a list. The first one says, Tim Clark, I've got a list. He says, asking you to select difficulty level or character class before you played anything. Slightly unfair argument, but I mean, certainly there should be ways to try and mitigate that. burying reams of information in letters and books you feel obliged to read, but resenting every second doing so. I personally don't fall for that trap. I just don't read things unless I absolutely have to. Adding stealth or vehicle sections to games that have no business whatsoever being. Having stealth or vehicle sections. Releasing items that don't appear to have been play tested. Overcharging for hats, and crashing. And that's one of the. That's Tim Clark from this list. Sam Robles says Assassin's Creed's platforming and any story bits where you walk slowly while the NPC barks plot to you. Chris Livingston said games needing to restart after I changed my settings. Yeah, that mostly I assume is just a workflow issue of how they set up their engines. Joe Donnelly says invincibility frames. I think that's pretty specific to things like Dark Souls and not inherently a bad thing either. Some people love the games have invincibilities. Tom Sr. says the new Tomb Raider is doing many of them. Let's see, unskippable cutscenes, insta-fail, trials, error platforming sections, slow walks and talks. Basically a lot of the go-to storytelling devices that they're still driving games like Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So apparently he's seen Shadow of the Tomb Raider, or at least he's assuming a lot from the leaked video and trailer.
Evil will be purged.
Killed that one, probably. Austin Wood said, cutscenes that use the default character model and don't incorporate my awesome shoes.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
I think games are actually getting a lot better about integrating custom characterizations, custom characters into cutscenes. So complaining that it's not 100% finished in that department is kind of, in my opinion, unfair. Jared Walton says unskippable intro screens. I can kind of forgive an unskippable intro screen if you only see it once in a game or once in a run of a game. But if you're seeing it every time you load the game up, there's still a ton of that. So definitely a lot of these I agree with in this article, although a lot of them I think are probably getting better or being very nitpicky, which fair enough. PC Gamer is full of video game critics, so them criticizing is their job. Top Drop said, alright, thank you, dude. You're welcome. Let's see. This. Next game we have on Steam is called The Beginner's Game. It says it's an action indie. This game is a retro 2D shooter minigame. Well, why are you selling it on Steam if it's a minigame? It's from a Chinese company that's done nothing else. Chinese named company at least. 10% off for $13.49 for what looks like a total piece of garbage student project game. It looks so bad. It's English and Japanese, so I guess this is a Japanese made game. This might be the rare instances of a Japanese person doing a Japanese person going out on their own to release a bad game. Let's see. The reviews not recommended. All you need to know is this: 18 full thrilling seconds of Atari 2600 looking gameplay for the low price of $14.99. So he lowered the price already. How could you say no? And that's the one user review. Is like, yep. Atari 2600 level graphics is about right. Yeah. So ignore beginner's game. Let's see, discover this and this. And this.
Let me light the way.
Okay. Next game we have on Steam is called WW Fantasy. It's from a developer who is also releasing a game called Mr. Dirt Poor that isn't out yet. And it seems like it's a Chinese developer again. So, what is this game? In this game, the player is a hacker, gets a command to return to the headquarters to perform a task. Now must separate from the present friends. What's going on is going to be interesting on the way. It says it's an action, adventure, RPG, indie casual. What this game really looks like is it is an attempt to make some kind of RPG with all the characters being elf girls in bikinis. It's asset flips, I imagine, but not so much what you would call an asset flip, as much as it's just a combination of some random areas with two elf girls in bikinis. It's simplified Chinese only. 4 Steam achievements, 15% off for $2.54.
Which path to choose?
It doesn't say it's early access. Let's see, 37 positive reviews, 5 negative ones, but unfortunately I bet none of them are in my language because it's Chinese only.
Which path to choose?
So yes, another low effort garbage game.
Here there is no light.
Reporting for duty.
Called WW Fantasy. And the story is clearly translated poorly from Chinese to English because it makes no sense at all. When first looking at this, I thought maybe the fantasy was you were a hacker in a VR world doing something, but I don't believe it that either. I believe this is just like the entire trailer is you're playing as one of the elves in a bikini wandering around. I see no items to pick up. I see no interactions. I see no abilities whatsoever. It's probably just close to a walking simulator. Next game we have on Steam is called Coffee Crisis. Came out May 4th. Says it's 100% positive with how many reviewers? 13 user reviews. It's $5.99. What is it though? It is a indie action beat 'em up with pixel graphics, and it seems like the graphics aren't the worst I've seen today, but they're still not really great for a beat 'em up. If you're gonna make a side-scrolling beat 'em up game, I really feel like
Let me light the way.
Reporting for duty.
I feel like it should be more of a
Join me.
experience that
To battle.
it should be a finely polished experience to do a side-scroller beat 'em up. There's really no reason not to have really smooth animation and graphics if you're gonna make a game like this. asking for $6 for this game seems like it's a lot, but apparently it's catching some people's attention. It's just not catching mine. There's no negative reviews, and yet 21 positive reviews, which is a little suspicious. Let's see.
I must consider.
Maybe there's like a comedy element to this story that you're playing clearly, and so it's supposed to be funny. But frankly, the graphics just are barely too low quality for me. I can't recommend this game, particularly since the only other game that they've ever made is a game called Log Jammers, which is just Windjammer's clone on logs, people rolling on logs. Okay, and that puts me in a funny position because at this moment I am now at the Humble Store.
Job's done.
And I don't believe there's any Humble bundles to really mention. There's 24 days left on the Destiny subscribe for the month bundle. There's 7 days left on the CryEngine bundle. The Capcom Sega PlayStation bundle is only got a few hours left before it runs out. I'm in the middle of transferring everything up to Twitch, so I've scheduled Hearthstone episode 1000 plus to air in October. Right now, as the videos are upgrading to Twitch, they're up to like my Series 2 Plague Inc. Evolved coverage and Bastion coverage and Hearthstone episodes 123. So I'm roughly, I would guess, at 10% of the way done, so this entire week streams will probably be a little bit slower than they should be. Apologies for that, but I really needed to finish, get that done. And I have it now set up so it will automatically upload videos to Twitch, so if you hate YouTube, who can blame you for that, you can find my Twitch account. Just search Rydo of All, and you should be able to find it. Or just search Rydo, and maybe you'll be able to find it there too. And you can subscribe or do whatever it is to follow on Twitch, where you don't actually pay people money. However that works. And like, it would be nice to get money from people subscribing to me on Twitch and cutting YouTube out of the process, since YouTube has already cut me out of the process and I'm not getting any ad revenue at all or any money at all. But that's, I guess, a project for another day. So now I'm on my Twitter account, and let's see, there's probably a couple of things that will come up. So the Miss 25th edition, let's see, do we have somebody to watch? Oh man, somebody hop on Hearthstone and play. I might spend all day just waiting for somebody to hop on so I can get to watch and learn. Go back to the shield deck. Both of those decks pretty good. So there'll be some new news. The Video Game Museum Twitter, the National Video Game Museum's Twitter feed is showing off the kind of famous sewing machine that was powered by a Game Boy. So it used the at the time, pretty good CPU of a Game Boy instead of putting in its own chips. In comparison to modern days, the Game Boy was a very slow, very unpowerful processor, but at the time it was very good. And so Singer made this Singer IZEK sewing machine, released in 2000, to let you sew using it. Probably there was a ton of Game Boys around that could have been refurbished to use it. I imagine it was a pretty good deal. Let's see. PC Gamer has an article. It looks like zombies are coming back to Call of Duty Black Ops 4. We'll look at that. Let's see if that really interests anybody.
Only a fool rejects the Lich King.
PC Gamer has an article talking about the game Forgotten Anne. Forgotten Anne is getting overhyped and it's not out yet, so I'm gonna skip that article. E3 tweet points to Call of Duty Black Ops zombie modes. E3 is an interesting question. I haven't seen any dates or anything like that, so I'm still not sure I really want or am going to succeed, at least at
The light protects me. The light protects me.
at covering all or any of E3. I'm gonna try and follow it, but as you may have noticed, streams are starting around 5:30 in the evening these days, and I imagine that I'm not gonna try and mess with insomnia and wake up early just to watch really boring live shows. But if I am awake and I'm gonna watch them anyways, we may just live stream all of that. It'll be certainly different than last year. I don't think we'll be doing any Hearthstone stuff. We may be doing just a running list of games or other elements.
Glory to the Sindorai! Glory to the Sindorai!
Oh, darn it.
I fight.
For the stern.
I fight.
Let's see. TechRaptor says the Dragon Ball Fighter Z update set to add co-op monthly competition. We'll read that article. But once the timer hits about 45 minutes here, I'm gonna end this talking portion and move over to just a silent post show. Let's see. PUBG map codename Savage return to test servers. Codename Savage returning to test servers with a new name. So, new PUBG map, it seems.
Last act of sacrifice is
A lot of YouTube creators tweets happening right now. Although I don't have anything nice to say about YouTube or anything new to say about YouTube, so I'm just gonna move forward on that one. PC Gamer has a celebrating EVE Online's 15th birthday with the greatest stories of deception and war in one place. Loki is pondering the quests. Come on, Loki, hop in there and play. I don't really care about EVE Online enough to hear their famous stories. That's really a thing. If I was playing EVE Online, I'd like to hear stories of things that had happened in EVE Online from other people who had played EVE Online. I don't want to hear it from an article outside of the game. 2 hours ago, episode 892 aired on my channel, and since I said I've scheduled up to 1,034, I believe, that shows me that I am very, very far ahead on Hearthstone. My attempt to correct that by having it air every day will eventually, I think, work with this. I think it will eventually start to balance out, but
We
have turned our
but
curse
right
into
now
our
I'm
strength.
still really far ahead on that, and not as far ahead on other things, certainly. PC Gamer seems to be liking Super Mega Baseball 2. They were talking about it in their podcast, and that was all I got before I had to start streaming. PC Gamer is also giving away a code for a free item in the game. Let's see, Critica Online? It's an MMO I've never heard of, so that probably tells you something about it. And NIS America is advertising their game that's going to come out called Assault Spy. That looks like it's actually a rather interesting game. 3 hours ago, Resident Evil 5, Bioshock 5 aired episode 29 on my channel. I definitely need suggestions and help on getting more people to watch my pre-recorded footage. Like, I do a lot more than Hearthstone, and I certainly want to do a lot more than Hearthstone. And all most people ever see is the Hearthstone stuff. PC Gamer has an article. The Council episode 2 goes live next week. I don't think I can recommend playing the Council
Let me light the way.
until the whole game is out. Just gonna go ahead and kill that guy. I probably will want to play it. There was a tweet, and how did I miss that tweet? From Hearthstone. Well, they said they were gonna make some changes. Hopefully I didn't scroll past it again. Yep, scrolling down my Twitter feed, there's not even a lot that's happened. 4 hours ago, Strider episode 19 aired on my channel.
For the light.
Let's see. Today's Teachers Appreciation Week. Or so YouTube creators said happy to that. I'd hate to know that there was actually any teacher that was also trying to be a YouTuber. That seems like you're banging your head against two different immovable walls. Both a impossible to achieve successful career as a teacher and an impossible to achieve successful career as a YouTuber.
I don't have enough mana.
I'll never tell.
For the light.
ThinkGeek has some new Mario block shelves they put on your wall. It's kind of nice looking. Yeah, look at that.
Let me light the way.
Winter is here.
Scrolling down. Apparently a PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3 controller is on sale, according to PC Gamer, for $32. Let's see.
Reporting for duty.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to win here.
Job's done.
They stole my card. Continuing, you scroll down. Bionic Commando episode 24 aired 5 hours ago. Earlier this morning, I also, as an experiment, put out the better quality version of my spotlight of Star Trek. What is it called? Star Trek Affinity? Star Trek The new Star Trek card game that's in early access, it's not very good, frankly. A poor first performance, first impression, and so I have no interest in moving over. Moving on that. See, PC Gamer has an article. Bill Gates thinks investing in Bitcoin is crazy. Warren Buffett calls it rat poison. I didn't agree. It does seem like it is, at best you could describe it as a lottery ticket that you could have gotten away with doing right when it was new, and now it's just really, really dumb to gamble any money in it. Let's see. Here we go. Here's a Hearthstone article. Let's continue scrolling down. And Paladin is done. Got 5 people online. Can freaking one person actually be? Let's see. Let's just ask Loki if he'll play. Did I hit that message? Apparently I didn't type in any of that. Where did all that typing go? I should have looked at the screen. It's not working. What's going on? Alright, well, let's move on. Let's see. Shaman and Warlock victories. We got a Murloc Shaman deck, so let's play that. I don't know if I've worn down my my Twitter feed to the point where it's manageable again, or if I've maybe need to go a little bit further and mute a few more people.
You asked for it.
For Doomhammer.
I probably wouldn't hurt to find a couple more people to mute. Let's see, play, get rid of all of these, and actually play. Child's Play Charity retweeted a picture of a girl playing with a touchscreen computer of some sort with special software. A girl in the hospital. That's interesting. One of the main problems with making these consoles and computers for kids is just how often those computers have to be bleached over and over again, and the bleach just eats away at the computers and the plastic. So they have to be careful about the stronger types of plastic, I suppose, they use. Let's see, Samsung's 970 Pro and Evo SSDs drop in price as they land in retail, according to PC Gamer. That is interesting. Let's do this. And somebody's coming online, but I might literally just have not enough bandwidth to do watch and learn on screen. If I get left with only the watch and learn quests, I'll have to play that off screen. And now that I'm scrolling down further, I am seeing some new games that I missed, which is interesting because if we had ended this stream here, which we're about to end the stream, then there literally would not have been a single game that we saw that I even wanted to wishlist. That that I wanted to wishlist because it came out over the weekend. So the idea, the concept of having a complete failure of a weekend of just nothing but garbage games being released is something we haven't run into before. At least in previous instances, there have been things worth mentioning, things worth keeping an eye on. The percentage is never very high. It is somewhere close to 20 terrible games to one potentially good game. And when you look at that from the perspective of a game that apparently there's a new game called Grimwood that's going to be an open beta on the 8th of May on Steam. Well, keep an eye on that one. It's from Head Up Games. And Head Up Games is advertising it themselves directly. Yep. If you were trying to find a new game to play this Monday, and you can't find anything new that's good, that's a very poor statement for the video game industry, and particularly Steam. I'm still scrolling down my Twitter feed and still seeing articles that I just didn't see. I guess this is confirmation I need to mute some more people until Steam decides until YouTube, Twitter decides to start giving me content in the order it should have been giving me content in the first place.
Hello.
Job's done. Greetings, friend.
YouTube Advertisers has tweeted out 11 hours ago, interactive features like in-screens and info cards create longer engagement. Learn more about these assets at the YouTube Playbook for Small Businesses. Okay. Thanks, YouTube Advertisers. I don't know if that's really true though. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see.
Well played.
I'm about to lose. And see all these games I'm opening right now, I'm probably just going to wait till Wednesday to talk about. So we'll have a nice long Wednesday stream. Yeah, 13 hours ago, Star Trek Adversaries Spotlight aired. I had already done a live stream of it, and that got like 300 views, which is quite a high number for these days, at least. Taunt, Divine Shield. I can go with Taunt, or I can go with Divine Shield. Apparently there's going to be an Unreal Engine 4 jam happening.
My magic will tear you
For anybody that
apart.
wants to go to a game jam and program. I don't think you can particularly go and just watch other people program, nor would you want to. It'd be very slow and boring. I don't know, maybe you go to the end of the game jam and you see the presentations of all the work that they've done, and maybe that would be interesting. I think I finally hit the point where I was before. Yep, cannot scroll any further down. There's 6 new tweets. Let's see. Let's see. PAX Australia is going to have the writer for the new Warcraft game, Rihanna Pratchett. If that interests you, wouldn't really interest me. Watch and learn. Watch and learn. Spectate. Will this... I don't even know if this counts for a watch and learn.
Powering up. Portals online.
Gamatsu has the Switch Online service details and features. Interesting. So, does this count? Yes, it does. Thanks. Thank you, Noah. And that's a pretty good place to end this. I don't even know if I really want to do any more streaming today. Since we're in the middle transferring all my videos to Twitter, I will instead end this stream here so I have more bandwidth. And I don't think I'm even going to bother to do the daily quests, so we're gonna have some more daily quests Wednesday to match up with the news articles we didn't cover today. And so I think we're kind of good. Let's open this card pack though. Everybody wants to see that, I'm sure. Been a pretty good stream. We've had a lot of people on the chat that are new. I like new people, new voices on the chat particularly. Hopefully that keeps up and continues to grow. Maybe YouTube has finally decided to start recommending some of these streams to some new people. All 5 of those cards are nothing, because frankly when you talk about the classic pack on my main account, the number of missing cards for classic cards is getting down to an extremely small amount. In fact, I could right now just create this, and now we are down to just legendaries. That's all we need. 6 more legendaries on the classic cards, and I will never need to open another classic pack again, which is good because there's certainly tons of other cards to collect all over the place. That's gonna be it for this stream. Thanks to everybody who chatted again. I'm gonna ask you specifically, try and go find my Twitter account before I not my Twitter account, my Twitch account, and see if you can watch videos, find the account, subscribe to the account in the non-pay way, and if you can and want to subscribe in the way that you're actually paying money or using your Amazon Prime to pay money to my channel, that is great. as I understand it, if you do subscribe and use the Amazon Prime free subscription, that has to be resubscribed every month. Yeah, but before I put out that link, I like some early access feedback on Wednesday, and I'd like to see if people can actually find it. That's it for this stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. When you subscribe via YouTube, click that notification bell, please. And if you do all of that and want to support me even further, friend me on Steam and gift me a game. That way I have more games to cover. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.